Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom.
Samantha, our producer, is here, and it's a good thing because I've almost forgotten how to do this.
Yeah.
Did you guys see me look over at the screen, and then I saw a man on the line, and I'm like, who is that?
Yeah.
I'm like, what's happening?
I'm telling you, we've been recording continuously for so long, so many days that when we just
I
take
had
off,
you guys on a schedule
Yeah,
to
but
take
we're-
1 week off, and
No.
now
Yeah.
we're all over the
We're
place.
like an old truck, though. You stopped us, and now we can't get started again.
no.
and I can't remember how to do things.
Lunch is
We've
at
been,
12.
No, I don't know.
Gotta
I didn't
blow
even
past that.
buy a lunch. I walked with you to Publix. I didn't even buy a lunch. I bought protein bars. That's not a lunch.
But a man that doesn't take his vacation, especially right now during peak hurricane season, we've got Mike. Oh, there it is.
I think there's a lot of what he says that you don't understand. Joining us, is it monthly or weekly now?
It's
I join
I've been doing
him
like every other week.
I join him daily on his Facebook page.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and now I got my daughter hooked because because you have an excellent delivery. Your delivery is funny and it's let's just
real.
say, yeah, it's not fake. How about that?
Yeah.
Good. I hate fake weather.
Yeah, it's true.
Mike's weather page, spaghettimodels.com. And
Yeah.
what do we got going on?
Yeah,
man?
I'll say real quick, sponsored by ABC
Oh, yeah,
Fine
yeah,
Wine
yeah.
and Spirits. If
They
you go,
sponsored my weekend, I'll tell you that.
Yep. If you go to your local ABC, and you guys know where that is, wherever you live, there's an ABC close. Just use hashtag TDABC and shoot us a picture. We're giving away monthly prizes.
Hey, I did something ABC related. You guys will be proud of me. I've been shopping at ABC for, as long as I've been of age, let's say.
Yeah.
So 23 years. And I finally have an ABC rewards card now. And man,
You just got it?
holy crap, it's good. Yeah,
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, it's real
Hey,
good.
me too. I got an email today about free shots of Fireball.
Yes, sir.
They send these emails out. I'm like, whoa, how did I miss this?
Yeah. I've only been a member for about, about this last week.
Wait
and
till you
that's
get in that
embarrassing.
Yeah.
Very embarrassing.
I'm
I
pretty
sign
sure.
up for it so many times because I'm usually drunk when I sign up for it, and then when I'm sober, I'm like, I got to go sign up for this. I already did the night before.
Man, me and Mike are right here, man,
Oh.
right here.
So, Mike, how you been doing?
I've been great. We've we always say we're in a hurricane hangover. It seemed like we had about a week off, of tropics, and now things are heating up again. So I got a standing joke with all my supporters. I've canceled 2 camping trips now. So last 24th, 6 days ago, I posted I'm going camping the following weekend, which is next weekend. And guess what? We might have tropics to talk about here for Florida. So we're already tracking October storms, and we're in that part of the year that people forget about the tropics. They see the pretty fall colors on the TV. They see football, and I would say fall and football. People forget that the tropics are still happening, especially here in Florida.
Yeah, it is true, Mike. Now I have no idea of what weather has been going on because I just got back from Colorado, so
Yeah.
I was like hurricanes. I'm looking. What actual name are we into now?
Well, we would be into Gamma. We
Yeah.
crossed into the Greek alphabet.
So that's only happened one other time.
One other time, 2005, and this will be this second time. So yeah, if we do get a storm, it's going to be Gamma, and there'll be some gamma. It wasn't like a gamma gun or gamma ray.
Gamma ray.
Gamma ray.
Also, a lot of
It's got the Hulk.
young boys call their grandmas that, right?
It's Gamma.
Oh, grandma.
I called my grandma Gamma.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But Gamma, not Gamma.
Spelled the same.
yeah,
those
it's
are
spelled
right.
exactly the same.
We could say jam on, like with a
We
G,
could say
jam
jam
on.
on. I'm gonna call it jam on.
Mike, is there like some? What if you go through the Greek alphabet? Is there any backup plan after that, or is it that?
No.
Then it's just
Nobody-
Simpsons
nobody
characters, I think.
They're going to go to pet names like Louie and Hunter.
Yeah,
I want to get the first name after the Greek alphabet. If we go past the Greek alphabet, we're all going to die.
Yeah.
Oh wow! I like that.
So
So
that's like 25. They use every alphabet. That'd be like 50 some storms, for the season. So
yeah, if that happened, it'd be bad times for everybody.
Yeah. Well, we must have missed like alpha and beta, right?
Yeah, and I have such bad memory, but Beta was a good little storm. So yeah, the season is such a blur. I tell you what, I'm gonna have to look back one day because I don't even remember yesterday. We're just gonna get to the season. October, unfortunately for Florida, we've had a lot of memorable storms. Just Michael's recently, and Wilma, two big storms that definitely can happen. So. We'll be watching. There's a little tropical activity near in the Western Caribbean right now that all the models are picking up on, and all the fancy scientific terms that hurricanes need are there, and so they're watching it close. It's might pop in and surprise everybody.
Why would you say, in your opinion, and based on science and stuff that why are we spicier this year and in '05 than we typically wouldn't be?
Well, there's a lot of factors, and I guess it takes 5 or 6 things that have to line up perfect. And when you get all 5 or 6 of those lined up, it's the perfect season. And it all started this earlier in the year with warmer water temperatures. We're in a La Nina pattern, which produces less shear over the Atlantic. The overall shear in general this season has been less. You just add 2 or 3 different variables like that, and usually one will cancel out the other 2. And so far right now, we got everything. Everything's positive as far as hurricane formation.
Sure.
And they predicted this. I mean, hats off to the big dogs because they saw this long range modeling ahead of time. And it even started back with Africa being extra juicy. Their monsoonal season was wetter than normal. And I don't know if can we see wetter and juicy?
You can. I like a juicier and wetter Africa.
Yeah.
WAP. Why?
Yeah, WAP.
But anyway, we got a wetter and juicier.
Wet ass planet.
Yeah.
Scared me for a second.
Yeah, so there you go. I mean, it's just everything's lined up, and a lot of these haven't been anything to affect anybody.
Mike, if I sent you the lyrics for the song WAP, would you rap it on SpaghettiModels.com?
Try.
All right.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't let him trick you into that, Mike.
Oh, is that a trick? He knows what it is.
So,
Hey, when you're sponsored by ABC and you get drunk and do a Facebook Live, that's what they like.
ABC loves WAP. End of the alphabet, beginning of the alphabet.
So, Mike, this time of year, because I noticed, I follow Mike's weather page as well, and I noticed you made a post.
But I followed it. I think I followed it first.
That cold front was starting to come down. Well, those cold fronts, those are highs, right? And those can help block storms. So if there was a cold front coming down and a storm coming at us, that can theoretically block it, right?
Yeah, well, what happens for people in Texas, for example, these fronts will ultimately absorb any tropical system, and fronts normally are diagonal. So if you look at the history of storms, they usually come up north from the Caribbean and they'll eventually curve off to the east, partly due to fronts will block them as they actually absorb them as they shoot off to the northeast. Now, what we got happening right now is fronts can sometimes help get these systems to start up just by the sheer nature of the jet stream dipping down and coming back up from the southwest. So they can actually help kickstart rotation in the atmosphere, enabling these systems to get going. So sometimes fronts this time of year actually help, and a lot of times the tails of these fronts become weaker areas of low pressure systems that are left behind, and that's all it takes. You just get a cluster of clouds and you get a general low pressure, and you'll start getting spinach. And that's why these fronts, when they dip down deep into the Caribbean, like we're seeing this week, and it's a cold front. I mean, we're going to have 50s in Tampa Bay, Orlando midweek. People are going to be going crazy, and then you're going to say, oh, yeah, by the way, we got a hurricane coming. I mean, that's what it's so bipolar.
That is weird.
It is bananas.
Yeah, like if it's 50 degrees outside, I am done thinking about hurricanes.
Yeah,
well,
like he said, football, fall. That's where you go.
Yeah.
But then the hurricane
that's what happened
comes.
with Hurricane Michael. Hurricane Michael started about the same time, first part of October, and they got zero coverage until it was almost not too late, but 2 or 3 days before landfall. And it's because your weather shows are talking about fall foliage and football. That's what I say. So fall football comes, people forget about the tropics. And luckily, this one that I keep talking about it's not 100%, but the NHC has marked it, and we could be talking about it into the first part of. And your buddy. John's getting married apparently for the Drew Garabo show.
Oh, right on.
And he keeps texting me. It's happening next week. And he's like, you mean to tell me I might have a hurricane coming? But it's so far away.
I didn't know if you knew that, but that was the only reason that Drew and John reached out to me to get your number was John's wedding.
Oh,
Yeah, because he wanted the real nitty-gritty from a reputable weather source, and you were the first person we thought of.
Oh, I appreciate that. Well, I sound cool this time of year because I mentioned to everybody, hey, we might have tropics next week, and they look at me cross-eyed like, what the heck are you talking about? And now they're starting to, you're starting to see it on the news.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's these storms form in October, right where this one's forming. It's a weird, it's historic. I keep saying it's a historic hotspot. And we get these fronts come down. Western Caribbean waters are the hottest of the whole season. And they just start spinning up right down there below Cuba. And next thing you know, they get pulled upwards with these approaching fronts and usually turn, unfortunately, into the Florida coast. So that's not a forecast.
Sure. This is kind of maybe a stupid question, but I'm okay asking it. I know who I am in my career. Has there ever been a hurricane on record that we've ever had where it was like exceptionally cold? Or is that not possible just based on the 4 or 5 things that we need to tick boxes in order to make a pretty juicy storm?
If it was cold, that would mean that
might cancel something else out, right?
Well, no, I recall storms that got absorbed by these fronts, and the next morning you'll wake up to crystal clear blue skies,
right?
Because the front passed through. So I don't know any specifically, but Wilma was one later in this season that was definitely later October. So yeah, that'll happen. I recall that happening before.
Because to me that seems
this front
weird.
that's coming down now, it's got 50-degree weather behind it.
Yeah.
To
me that's just so odd.
But I remember past hurricanes where we're out of power, and then the next morning you wake up, you're out of power, and it's a beautiful day, and it's kind of cool. Yeah, and then you open up your windows, you're like, I could live like this. Yeah. Who needs power? And then like one day later, you're like, oh God,
I need power.
My sofa's wet.
I wish I remembered what storm, but I remember the same exact thing, Tom.
It was the 3. It was the 3 that came through.
Maybe in 03.
I was out of power for 38 days, 37 days.
04,
and you're exactly right. I had my generator and everything ready to go.
Yeah.
Charlie. And I boarded up my windows, right? And I was ready to go. And then it blew through. And then the next morning, I walked outside, and there was a lot of damage. It blew my fence down and everything. But I left the front door open. I couldn't open all the windows because of the boards. Yeah, but I left the front door open with a fan, and I'm like, this is fantastic. This is not a big deal. Yeah. The next day, like you said, it was just a hot swamp.
Everything's wet.
Well, you got this intense high-pressure system over top of you. And I remember that with Irma. It had this eerie heat outside. It was like no movement, and you could feel something was in the air. You knew it was coming. But, these hurricanes make their own weather pattern, and they basically push the high out of the way, and then you're left behind, cooler skies, usually because the jet stream dips down a little further south, which ultimately picks them up anyways. So, yeah, you get these smooth swings of the weather, Mother Nature.
Oh, especially now.
So, Mike, when is the official last day of hurricane season? Or when you can say, like, all right, there's going to be no more real storms. Like, they may be conservative with the last day.
Or does that change? Does hurricane season extend itself based on weather patterns and or global warming?
Well, Hurricane Sandy was almost into Halloween, and that was up to New York, New Jersey, remember? And that was an odd system, but it caused billions of dollars, $70 billion in damage. I'm looking at it right now. So that was, October 31st, Halloween. But usually you get this last big one, and then things are just shut off. I mean, the season goes till November 30th officially. I can't really recall much past Sandy as far as like memorable systems. So October is, we'll have to keep a really close eye here in Florida. But things, once we start getting these cold fronts come through, like clockwork weekly, things cool down quick. The atmosphere cools down. And the ocean heat cools down quick. The equator and the sun are starting to shift farther south, so the waters are going to start cooling up really quick. That's why you get this one big last gasp. Usually, if you look at the chart for hurricane season, you get a little second peak in the middle part of October. That's usually these last few couple little fronts that get going, and then after that, I don't know. I mean, for me, it would be like you were saying. I November 1st, I can't see anything in the mid-November. Near November 30th is the last day, but it seems like I can't see having a hurricane during Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Now, Mike, I got a question for you.
Fun.
So,
Like blow all of that burning oil on my legs.
yeah.
I'm out there trying to fry a turkey. I got this thing whipping my sandals with hot peanut oil.
So, Mike, how long have you been doing what you do as far as like once you started like doing this every single season and building the following, and this was good, like, has it been 10 years?
Well, Facebook started in 2009, so yeah, that's technically, what is that, 11, 12 years now.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
yeah, it's crazy.
With that, like you mentioned, you had to postpone your camping trip. Like, do you know in your family, like when it's hurricane season, like this comes first, and like have you ever, like maybe earlier on, just like took a family vacation and weren't on, like, and then people were
I
like,
would imagine
"Where's
that
it?"
they'd give him anxiety because he feels an obligation now to his guys.
Like, will people get mad if you all of a sudden there was a storm coming and you weren't there?
And
like
you're out on a Carnival cruise.
Yeah, they rely on you. Do you feel that pressure that people are relying on you?
Oh yeah, 100%. And I'm the type that, I try to make everybody happy. That's just been me my whole life. So I couldn't consciously go out and have a good time, knowing that something's brewing. Especially if we did have a storm coming to Florida, there's no way I'm leaving because I do feel an obligation, and I don't mind it at all. I guess the only bummer of this whole thing is when I do take like a day off, and when I say a day, it might be 12 hours. I do get that sense of like, where's Mike? Where's Mike? Or I go to bed. I went to bed one night at like 7 p.m., which is a rarity. I was like, where's Mike? Where's Mike? Where's Mike? And it's like Sunday night, and that's the only thing is people forget. It's hard to do this 20 hours a day. I would if I could, and I do most of the time. But yeah, it's like they forget I'm a person, and I'm not a machine that's pumping out data. And then I do get the feeling like sometimes I let people down when I'm not 24/7. So yeah, back to your question. I think I used to just say screw it because we would go to Daytona in July, and I would try to update. But let me tell you, when you start day drinking at 7 in the morning, and
I know
by noon you're trying to give an accurate weather report, it's probably better not to even have the computer on.
Just put the graphics up. Just put the graphics up.
Is there any time of year that you've like determined or specified as your time to take off because
vacation.
There's no weather or there's not that much weather going on that people are gonna need from the info from you? Like, is that?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I'm just curious. Not to get too personal.
Yeah, when do you feel ease?
Yeah.
Well, definitely first of the year. I'm going to start doing that. We've been to Talladega. We're big NASCAR fans, but with Hurricane Michael, I chased it all the way up to where it was behind us. Like we were getting feeder bands as I was driving north, and when we parked at Talladega, it was making landfall near Panama Beach there, and I fell asleep, crashed 12 hours. I had again people like, where'd he go? Where'd he go? You just can't leave us. And so now, unfortunately, they moved the race up to October 3rd, which would have been this weekend. We're not going. So now I'm thinking March, April, May are the safe months, and I'm not even going to try to do anything in the summertime as long as I'm doing this because it's impossible to like.
You know what? I think you got a good business model there, Mike, because when we go on vacation, not one email about it. People are like, good, they record too much.
People are like, I can catch up now.
Not one, anybody cares.
Now, that's not true for me, but
I just my perception.
You just don't read your email.
I didn't read mine either. So
maybe you have to care. Where
are we at on the Mike's Weather page? Spaghetti Models calendar, where it's all hot girls.
Well, it's
covered in spaghetti. They're wearing spaghetti bikinis. It's Spaghetti Models.
Oh, yeah.
2021 calendar.
It'd be better for dudes because you got spaghetti noodles and meatballs, right?
Oh.
No, man, you can get the hell out of here. No. You're embarrassing in front of my friend.
We have to offer both because I have more women followers than men.
There you go. See?
Okay, we could offer both. We could have one calendar, a bunch of fat guys, and then one calendar, hot 12s.
Well, yeah, I like the idea of meatballs.
Yeah.
All right, we could do meatballs for the girls, and we'll do
Don't listen to any of these ideas, Mike. I fell into that years ago, and it's a bad path.
I was thinking of doing a calendar, but I was going to keep it safe with sunsets and puppies.
Nah.
All right. But the sunsets are really pumping the puppies good, right?
Oh, man, yeah, this is G-rated, man. I got
I'm
to
sorry.
G-rated.
You know what? I'll
So, Mike, again, when do you expect, if we're going to see any weather at all, what are we talking here? Like,
you tropical wise?
yeah.
Well, we do have a spot being watched in the Western Caribbean for this week. Going into the weekend, there's a chance if this thing were to develop, it could actually start impacting the Keys and the South Florida as early as this weekend coming up, which is very, would be very sneaky. And the 3rd, 4th October, more middle of the week, but there are models suggesting that we're going to see development. So this is going to be watched really, really close. All the conditions are showing that it's going to be favorable environment. It's not there yet, so it'd be irresponsible to say there's a hurricane coming because there's not even anything other than a little clump of clouds in the Caribbean. But as far as what everybody looks at is what causes these things to form, it's going to have. It's got the water, it's got this MJO cycle that passes through the earth, it's got got a little bit of this frontal action coming down, which actually helps spin. Pressures are low, so it's we're going to be watching. This is going to be sneaky. I think I can kind of sense from the meteorological world, all the big dogs are kind of saying, "Hey, you better be watching the Caribbean this week." So, and maybe that could be our last big hurrah. But unfortunately, it's not even October yet. So I'd hate to say, we're going to have a couple more named storms.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, Mike, we appreciate talking to you today.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much.
And
There's
again,
our dog, by the way, for the Twitch
Oh
phone.
my
Wow.
goodness,
Oh,
who
he's
is
so
that?
cute.
Oh,
That's
that.
he was crying. I had to pick him up because I didn't want him barking. But that's
Little-
Hurricane Hunter, which we have coming to ABC beer, Big Storm Brewery.
Yay, look
Yeah.
how sweet
Look-
he
He was a little
is.
potato.
Mike,
Oh, I want to smooch his face.
let's talk about that. So you're getting your own beer, which over the weekend you sent me a picture. It looks awesome. And
I can't wait to have some. It's
so
going to be awesome.
When is it going to be out? Do we know yet?
Well, they're frantically trying to get it out within the next couple weeks. So, the groundwork's there. It'll obviously be huge next year, but we've got a lot. ABCs are stocking it. We got other support. It's going to be sold throughout the state of Florida and maybe even beyond. It's going to be a tropical IPA. It's got Little Hunter on a Hurricane Hunter. We got Florida on it. We got everything you want on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our guys are going to flip out.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we have a whole craft beer group that, these guys are nuts for the beer. I've been putting my toe back into the world lately. I can't wait to have some, man.
Well, when it comes out, we're definitely going to have you, on the show to talk about it. And
We'll
so,
come up a drink to we'll get drunk on the 30-minute segment.
yeah.
All
I like
right.
that.
Don't threaten
I'm
me with a
down.
good time.
We'll say a game every time you say something. We'll take a shot.
Okay,
Yeah,
I like
I'm
that.
down.
Do a power hour.
Well, Mike, it was good talking to you, dude. Be easy,
Yep.
and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Have
All
a
right,
good
man.
one.
Take care. Be easy, B. Be easy, B.
Oh,
God damn.
Be
man.
easy. Oh.
Why do you freak out like that?
Keep
Stop
on.
laughing, Butler.
Be easy. Keep it on the flip-flop, shove it on ham. Keep your feet in the weeds and keep jacking for the stars. I don't know.
I want
Be easy.
I was gonna say take it easy and be safe. And then
You
that's
mixed
what
it up.
I
You
take
mixed
it
it up.
easy, B. That's where he
Yeah.
came up with it. Take it easy, B.
God
That's
damn
a
it.
classic. That's one of your classic. You've almost conditioned yourself out of it, but it's coming back now. Your adult onset dementia.
And it just happened because I was like, oh, gotta end it, and then I'm like, don't
Be
say.
easy.
I was like, don't say something stupid, bro. You don't do it. I know you. I feel it coming, and then I couldn't stop.
I love you. Why would you say that to Mike from Mike's Weather Page?
I couldn't stop it. I felt it coming. I was like, it's happening.
Don't say anything stupid. Okay, we're leaving. All right, Mike, great talking to you. Your dog has an erection. Tom Boyan. Shaka Khan. Let me love you, Shaka Khan.
God damn it. Anyway, bye-bye. Welcome back to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer's here. Butler is here. And our fish tank back in business.
Man,
Is it?
No.
It's something wrong with it.
I think I did something wrong.
Took a week off and
Yeah, it
something
stinks.
broke down, foaming crazy,
Oh, yeah.
stinks.
But not white foam. Normally it's white foam. This
Yeah.
is like a brown,
yeah.
like a
doo-doo
funky,
cloud.
funky foam.
Brown foam is always bad.
It's always bad.
Yeah, there's no good brown foam anywhere.
Have you seen these videos? I'm sure you have because you get kids that like to dabble on the YouTubes, although you've probably been YouTube free for about a week. Have you seen these? It's the experiment that people have got. I mean, they're just going crazy with it, and it's called the devil's toothpaste.
No.
But is this one you mix common household chemicals
It
together?
isn't.
to
It
create
isn't. It's
something?
like they're taking it a step further. Samantha, if you don't mind, look up devil's toothpaste recipe.
Okay.
Because it's so now people are trying to outdo each other with these ginormous color explosions.
Okay.
You know, it's kind of like the influencers that want to fill a pool full of Orbeez.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
I'm going to release 1 million bouncy balls. Or the one that hooked me for a little while, but now I don't like any of them, is where they drop the car on the jumbo trampoline they built. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's like a thing now, right?
Yeah.
It's like extreme, weird, contraption-y stuff.
Yeah. The filling your pool full of Orbeez or buying a ridiculous amount of shaving cream and God, I can't talk.
Yeah, well, you put the shaving cream in your throat.
There you
You're not
go.
supposed to eat it.
You know what it
Gargle
was? It's
You need to shave your throat.
not talking for a week and then coming and just
you
caffeine
get-
Yelling
and
into
yelling for one.
microphone.
We did a BDM show.
Well, a lot of
and I
people
talked
don't
for an
know
hour.
your real voice. It's like very much like very
Sorry.
much like a
Go
Michael
ahead.
Jackson.
I'll try not to talk.
No. Did you know this thing was like a thing? The devil's toothpaste thing? Have you looked it up, Sam?
I'm not finding a written recipe. There's a lot of videos where I'm assuming they're going to talk about how to make it. But
You just think like baking soda and vinegar is basically
Yeah.
what it
Yeah,
is, you know?
the Mentos in the Diet Cola.
Yeah,
whatever.
but is that's
they're
gonna,
also calling it elephant toothpaste.
yeah,
what
I've
do
heard
you
that one
do?
too.
What's the chemical reaction?
It looks like an explosion.
But is that what are the household things that you put together that makes that?
That's what I'm trying to
I
find
have no
out.
idea, but these guys are like the guys that do that. That wasn't what I wanted to talk about. I had another question I wanted to ask you guys, but we can pivot. But I just for some reason you talking about stuff
All right.
spraying in the air made me think elephant toothpaste.
So you got to measure half a cup. Should I tell this to people?
yeah,
Okay.
it's fine. It's like on the internet. It's fine.
Half a cup of hydrogen peroxide.
Yeah, it's hydrogen peroxide.
Okay.
Hold on. Just clicked something and lost it. God damn it.
It's
Yeah,
the old
it's-
science volcano, right?
Kind of, sort of.
So you need an empty plastic bottle, dry yeast found in the baking section of the grocery store, warm water, liquid dish soap, 3% hydrogen peroxide, safety glasses,
Okay, it's a baking soda.
and liquid food coloring optional.
It's baking soda and vinegar, right? Or
Sort of, kind of.
hydrogen-
Baking
But this
soda,
one-
dish soap, and dry yeast.
But it goes
and
nuts. It goes crazy. So now people are doing this. But my point is, when I watched it done on a kids program, there's this show that May's kind of into on Netflix called Emily's Wonder Lab. It's good. It's just all
Yeah, yeah.
experiments.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
the cool thing about it is it's a lady. For the first time that I can remember, it's a lady being the scientist instead of a guy. So that's good. And, I know. Go ahead. Get it out. No, please.
Dish soap.
Okay. And so it's Emily's Wonder Lab, but when she's doing it with the kids, she's like, we're not going to use hydrogen peroxide. We're going to use the amped up version that hasn't been diluted, that instead of being 3%, I don't
Okay,
know
that's
what
the
it's called, but
extreme,
it's
yeah.
and then she said we're not going to use the baking soda and the yeast. We're going to use this other chemical because she's a scientist, right? She can do it.
Yeah.
So she's got these kids, and they're doing the thing that all television shows where it's kids. They dress the kids in all different colors, and then every kid represents a different person in the world
Okay.
Okay.
because that's just what you do, right?
Yeah.
Because there'd be letters if it were all black kids, all white kids, all whatever kids.
Yeah.
You
The
gotta
whole spectrum.
Yeah, you got to have everybody, and then you put them all in different, a red shirt, a green shirt, a blue shirt. It's just the thing. So they go to do it, and the one the little girl in like the yellow shirt, they're all pulling like a cord to launch it'll drop the chemical into the hydrogen peroxide, then spray the devil's toothpaste or elephant toothpaste into the sky. When she pulls it, it's like she puts her safety goggles like over it, and it's like, gosh, and it like right in her face. And even Emily, the Wonder Lab lady, is like, when you do this, it's going to get hot because it's a chemical reaction. Chemical reactions typically get hot. My point is, this is a long-winded way of me saying somebody's going to get hurt doing these devil toothpaste thingies, right?
Yeah.
Because like just like anything that becomes a thing, whether it's the Bird Box Challenge or Ice Bucket Challenge.
But then we get the Devil's Toothpaste fail videos.
Yeah.
Just like the Ice Bucket Challenge fail videos, just like the fail videos of you slamming a 2-liter soda against the floor and it rocketing off, and then, the kid gets hit in the balls or the dad gets hit in the ball. I mean, it's the same, just like the basketball, bounce a fucking beer off, catch it, drink it.
Did you just curse?
Oh! Sorry.
Drop the F-bomb.
He's out of practice.
Yeah.
We should talk about that.
You guys just kept going, so I was like, did I just lose my mind and think I heard something?
I didn't hear it. I'm not here.
Sorry. I never do that with ACT.
Yeah, you do never do that.
I have to get into the mindset again.
You do.
The 1 week off. Rust.
Oh, my God.
This is why all the NFL players are getting hurt.
Yeah, they're all getting hurt. My God.
Yeah.
Let's talk about sports for a second, because that goes into my question that I had. I've been watching a lot of sports. I've been watching a lot of football and a lot of soccer. I'm not going to use particulars because I don't want to be mean, even though this is sort of a mean-spirited question to ask.
Yeah.
If you're watching a newscaster, namely a sportscaster, because that's what I was watching, and you're not an attractive sportscaster, and I'm not talking about a woman.
Okay. Would you say he's a ghoul?
See, that's the thing, man. I don't want to label anybody anything because, I mean, Lord knows, I'm sure there are plenty of people that say, yeah, Daniel's a half ghoul.
Yeah.
But my point is, do you owe it to the people watching you to step up your dress to a point where it makes me as the viewer understand that you know that you're unattractive and you went the extra mile to tell? Thank you.
Yeah, you have to
this is why Tom and I are in business together. I feel like if you are a ghoul,
you got to do extra work.
And you're a newscaster, if you're given the weather and you're a ghoul, I'll just say that, and you're not you look bad. You got to buy the best suits. You got to have the best shoes, or at least whatever
best
you can
haircut.
afford. You got to have a sharp haircut. You got to get it cut every week. Skin has to be tight, no zits, no blemishes. You can't overdrink. You got to be healthy. You can't be slob fat.
You know what's funny? It's the exact opposite of what we did in a very smaller microcosm of the on-field Orlando City announcements.
We had boob sweat. Boob sweat.
We go there half drunk with boob sweat, fatter than ever. And
we would go to
I knew
on a big screen.
when I would see pictures of us on the jumbotron. I knew I was like, well, this ain't gonna last for long.
Big and little Enos.
We're not good looking enough or professional enough. We didn't even want to do it, but we just do it because all right, we're trying to get paid or we're trying to do anything.
Well, we started out really wanting to do it,
Well,
but
we
then
want some
eventually
promotion.
we just go to Stonewall Bar and get drunk, and then we log over.
Let's just say that's not us. You know, it's we're not into getting on jumbotrons and reading off commercial stuff. Being presenters is not our game, and we're not.
I mean, we can do it.
We could do it.
We can do anything. I can fix a roller coaster, but it's not going to be good.
And, we should have been in, I say you always look good. I would show up disheveled.
No, I would not.
Hair would be all over the place. I remember that one time I was sweating so bad that they had to get me another shirt.
I do.
Right before, then I had to pull my shirt off, and then some BDM was like,
hey, that girl took her shirt off. And it was bringing back all your childhood memories.
They're clowning me.
I thought about that happening. I thought about,
I tried to hide behind one of the lines.
BDMs, because you were heavier than we both were, but he yells at you, and I thought about all the childhood memories of you being bullied at that pool party came back. What if you went on a killing rampage, or you just collapsed?
I laugh. I'm like, I gotta be good.
I'm glad you agree with me on that, because I started talking to my wife about it, and I was like, well, this guy, he's got to go the extra mile. He can't look like that.
Yeah.
And my wife was like, that's a horrible thing to say. And I was like, no, I feel like it's
like, if you're gonna be fat, you got to be tan. I heard
yes,
that one.
That's another one I've heard.
It smooths things out. But yeah, I agree.
What about if you're bald?
Yeah.
Do you owe it to people to not let that thing grow long so you look like Riff Raff from Rocky Horror Picture Show?
It's you could do it if you're an old man, Larry David style, or
that's
the George
curls.
Costanza.
It curls a little
different.
bit.
But the bozo,
they still get it cut.
Yeah. But
it's trimmed.
Just go full. I guess, but Costanza couldn't. It just looked like a short, fat, bald guy.
Let's all get John the barber to make me, you, and Butler's hair fade it into an old man's round and see who rocks it the best.
Yes,
to know who's going to look the
please.
best old.
You want to do some dumb radio songs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that goddamn game.
We're back in, baby.
You said, oh my God, this guy. You said
You're flying a plane. I'm giving everybody COVID.
Oh, come on.
I'm not saying I am, but I'm saying
Did
it's
you get tested
It's a possibility.
when you got back?
I
No,
don't think that's a
why?
I think
thing.
you're supposed to do that when you travel.
he's only had a fever for a day.
Are you supposed to quarantine for 2 weeks? I don't even think you're supposed to be here.
Doesn't
Who
go
knows
that
the
fast.
rules? I heard DeSantis
Yeah.
opening
Yeah. I'm sitting
It's not right.
I'm sitting 16 feet away and I'm drinking bleach. It's fine. Everybody
No,
knows
it's just because I'm not used
know.
to. Because on my vacation,
How much did you actually talk on your vacation?
no, not at all. Because we went.
Well, except for
and
the
you
white
know why
water
I'm
raft.
okay? Do you want to know why
me,
I'm
my
okay?
kids-
Because I scream cried the entire
There
time.
you
I'm
go.
big sad. So sad.
Crystal doesn't want to hear the same old GD stories over and over.
Yeah.
My
You
theory.
almost cursed again.
Oh,
You know what?
man, you are way out of practice.
my theory.
Stop
of-
drinking those Mountain Dews.
Oh, my
Calm down.
My new business ideas. Oh,
you got new ones?
I talked to it. I talked to myself in my head.
Oh, that's
So
sad.
now I'm hoarse because I spent the first hour telling stories about my trip on the BDM show. Sorry.
That's true.
And I will because I know we got to go soon. But I saw this lady at that adventure park, which is like a small little mountain theme park, Glenwood Adventure Park.
Small mountain town theme park.
Yeah, just a couple of rides and whatnot. But so me and Max got on the Alpine coaster. We were going, but they must have rode that thing 10 times. I
Oh, it's
loved
so
it.
fun.
And it's basically what you see on ski mountains in the summer. You know, it's a gravity powered coaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that
Did
will
you
go-
let it go all the way out so you could
Oh
fly
yeah,
off
yeah,
the top?
yeah,
you
yeah.
have
They,
to.
they wanted full,
Yeah.
the no brakes, which I thought they'd be more scared,
It
but they
whips
were
you
not
around, no
yeah.
brakes. They
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah. And so, and you always think like, around this corner, I'm being whipped off onto the mountain.
You do think that. And if you're me, you're a grown-ass man, and they told you could ride this thing, but my cart didn't fit, and I'm like, I think I'm too small to ride this. My feet didn't touch the bottom of the, you know what I'm
Oh,
talking
yeah, the
about.
first foothold.
My
Oh,
feet
no.
don't hit in the
Yeah.
foothold, so I'm like, well, all right. Hold there, yeah, there we go.
We're gonna whip this M word right off.
Jesus.
It's funnier if you say it like that.
Yeah, it is
I don't
funny.
know. It's too close to the
is
other
very
letter.
close.
It is. I said M word. Sorry.
Don't say it again. Just keep going.
Don't never clarify. Oh, now you're explaining.
So, anyway, there was
Did you
this-
say anyway?
no, there was this two ladies and a guy that
I've seen that movie.
In a pizza place.
that we saw up on the like top side of the mountain, and they had this like, this is where we saw them before, and it was this statue. I don't know if you saw Crystal's Instagram, like of this big troll. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I
it was
did
like
see
a,
that.
It was like
I'm a god in Colorado. I don't know if you know that.
They got a lot of those in Seattle.
yeah, it was just like, and it has a little plaque, and it says like, "Here's Trolley," and he protects the caverns, and
Yeah,
one day
push him down the mountain.
It's giant though.
and one day
It's
he,
just papier-mâché trash.
yeah. It's just some papier
It
mache
is,
they
yeah.
put up just to get
Yeah, it's just
like,
tourist trash.
tourists. So
You know what's better than that? The actual mountain that was formed for
Yes,
years.
yeah. What's better is right behind you. Look, like it's
Turn around.
Turn around. There's a GD most beautiful landscape you've ever seen, but nope, there's
Get a picture with Trolley.
papier mache trolley that has a little plaque that says this troll used to guard the caves, and then when he went outside one
It's
day,
a lie plaque.
Yeah. Then it was like, oh, okay. Anyway, so we're staying because the boys wanted to climb the trolley and take a picture, and Crystal. So we're waiting, and
Sign on the front, no climbing.
Yeah.
that's fine. All the flip flop people they write Florida white trash.
Yeah,
right?
it happens with us too. It's like we're so small that all the ladies want to climb the trolley.
And so anyway, these people before us, they were getting their picture made, as Daniel would say,
Yeah.
next to the trolley. But this lady, and this lady was probably late 30s.
I do say made instead of
Like-
taken,
You
don't
do.
I?
This,
yeah.
this wasn't so. This wasn't
My
some
God, I'm an
teen.
old grandma.
they this lady was sitting on the trolley's lap.
No, never sit on their lap.
And doing like a bizarro, and I'm saying this lady's her late 30s, doing like a bizarro photo shoot where she was like looking up, looking like doing, and this was
Come back to me, Charlie.
and then the guy was taking pictures, and
yeah,
dude. Meanwhile, we're just sitting here with two boys just waiting our turn. You know, it was like
maybe
stay
they
away from
rented
people.
Charlie.
And these people were literally doing this for 9 or 10 minutes.
That's the thing, though. That's social media or
What?
like,
I was like, you're a grown ass. You're maybe my age or older, and you're doing a photo shoot for 10 minutes on this troll.
yeah, but
Back-
he's Supreme Patty on Instagram, and he knows Gucci Berry and Daddy Longneck.
It's these people were trash people,
Yep.
and I'll explain to you. So then, they're next stop. They're in front of us at the Alpine Coaster.
Uh-oh.
And they
Oh, are you gonna chop him?
no, they get in and
Butler, he's gonna chop him.
And so the lady gets in, the same lady that was doing that. She goes. It's like, you know, they let the person go in front of you, and they give you like a couple beats.
Leadway time so you don't rock it through the blowing your teeth out the back of your skull.
Have you ever seen videos of people getting hit in the back?
It will
It
blow a
whips-
grandma's. Her eyes fly out. The only thing attached to the retina just snaps back into her
It
skull.
whips your neck and head back.
bad.
Oh, when someone rams you from behind. Anyway, the lady explained that they have like computer system breaks in there now.
Yeah, the fat kid when I wrote it, he said that too, and I didn't believe him because he was stuttered.
So anyway, so they give it a beat, and then me and Max go, and
Well, they have lights, right?
yeah, and they tell you, all right, go now.
The best ones when you're going up through the
They pull you back up.
yeah, I like the hill.
So we're rocketing down, and Max is like, faster, we're going on no brakes or whatever. Then all of a sudden we go around this curve, and then we stop like the auto brakes turned
my
on
God.
because this goddamn lady
Take a picture of me with Trolley.
was stopped on the track taking selfies of her. Like there's a whole thing about do not stop or whatever you do.
Did you yell at her?
No.
Oh,
because-
you gotta go, hey! Hey!
No.
Move it!
And so she was stopped on the track. Me and Max ran forward because the auto brakes went
yeah.
on. We're coming around a curve. She stopped around a curve to take a selfie. And I was like, what the hell are you doing, lady? I'm so awkward I can't yell at anybody. So we just slowly, then I had to stop. Then we slowly moved, and then she
What did she look like? Did she have anything that you could have named her? You know, like,
She was
hey,
just
crow nose, or hey,
No,
one eye, or hey, big ears.
she's a dumb trash person that didn't
That's
care
not
about
specific enough.
didn't
We're
care
gonna have
about
to work on that.
anybody but themselves, and also didn't listen to any rules. Only about me and my selfie. I know what you're saying. Look at me.
I'm biting my tongue.
I would never do that to inconvenience someone else.
I understand.
Like I understand about like breaking the rules as long as I'm not inconveniencing anybody around me.
Right.
Then I don't care. If there's no one else on the track, stop whatever you want.
Sure.
But she knew there's a line
No,
of
I
people
understand.
like just a POS, and
They're
I'm like,
also probably telling you. I mean, people are trying to get away to COVID. I'm trying to be. Like, I found that I am like extra polite because I'm.
Yeah, you
It's
gotta-
almost like I feel like everybody hasn't been doing anything, so I'm certainly not going to ruin your time
Right.
out. It could be the only time you've been out.
yeah, it's just that hey, my picture or selfie is more important than anything going on around me. And then she had no
Yeah.
idea. Like she didn't say, "Oh, sorry" or whatever. Like completely oblivious to any. Like even when we were waiting to take a picture with the kids, they saw us. We're just standing there with two kids who obviously wanted to go.
Yeah.
Like, they were just taking 10 minutes
I have
of their own
found
selfie. Like,
myself-
come on, you're old. Just let the kids get up there.
I have found myself
10
politely
minutes.
saying things to people or just going about, follow me with this. If they're being inconsiderate, then I'll just walk up to where they're taking photos because they don't want me in
Stare
their
at 'em.
photos. No, I'll just stand in their
Oh.
photos
Oh, I
because
like
they don't
that.
want me in their
I
photos.
couldn't
And then
do that.
Maisie and my wife come up, and then we get our photos, and then we walk away. That way, we got what we wanted. We didn't really inconvenience them. They're going to go back to doing what they're going to do. I've been doing that lately.
Yeah.
I did it. The first time I did it was when you and I went camping at the Westgate River Ranch deal. There was some girls taking like photos, and normally I would like try to get out of it, but they were just like standing on the normal path to do it. And I'm just like, no, I'm just gonna walk right through it. I'm not gonna care anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they don't
But
care
that's part of
either.
the problem too, right?
It's yeah.
Uh-oh.
People. Oh, bye. Welcome back to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Do me a huge favor. Do the show a huge favor. Check out our YouTube channel. Lots of good stuff on there, including just about every corporate time that we do. Occasionally, we'll put up a surprise BDM show. Every single Uncensored Friday free show's on there. Any promotional videos that we've done, behind-the-scenes stuff. It's a really good channel. We're super proud of it, so check it out. Just go to YouTube and search Tom and Dan Live.
So last night, Crystal was like, I want to watch this Paris Hilton documentary.
I do
because
too.
I was reading about it on the plane, and someone was saying that it came out better than they expected, and they thought it was just going to be about like Paris Hilton being Paris Hilton, or like some put on, kind of like her reality shows, but it was like, oh, it was deeper or whatever. Anyway, so I watched it. Not too interested in like Paris Hilton and like that, but it did show the whole documentary basically showed like who she was, and like this act that she's been doing this whole time is part of like this persona that she was building and brand, and like it's not really her, and it kind of had like this a message in it that was kind of against and shedding light on these programs. You remember like Outward Bound, and like where you send troubled teens to the mountains for camping or away.
As a kid, I always wanted that, and I was never a bad kid.
It seemed cool, right?
Yeah, it did seem cool. Like military school seemed to me like if my mom and dad ever threw around like, well, we'll make you. I was always like, that'd be pretty cool. Dude. That'd be awesome.
You'll have to work on a farm.
But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, so apparently they did that to her, and now they tried a bunch of different ones, and she kept running away from them.
Yeah.
And like I guess she was a troubled teen.
Yeah, 100%.
Like even before she became Paris Hilton, like she was Paris Hilton, the troubled teen that the rich family was. Like,
does it go through like
at.
what causes that sort of stuff and shed
No.
any type of like maybe negativity towards the distance of her mom and dad, and
Well,
maybe
the mom was on the documentary talking about it, and they kind of did a couple fake BS things. Okay, personally, I didn't ask my wife because I didn't want to get in an argument, but not a good documentary. I will not recommend it.
Oh,
okay.
All
It's a hunk of ass.
No. Thank you. Okay.
Now, it's not good at all. But I did sit through it because I didn't want to, this whole vacation
That's a good husband move.
very hard on my wife, and she did a lot of work, and and so I was just like, you know what, I'll sit here and watch the scores on the left hand side and watch the Paris Hilton.
Yeah.
So there's a couple things. One is that she didn't take any blame of like being a bad kid. Like the whole thing was how she was traumatized by the final. So she went to all these different like
The final
Boarding
episode of
schools,
Friends.
right?
She went boarding. It was like boarding school / like camping retreat for bad teens. Blah, blah, blah. She kept running away from them, and so finally, I
Put
guess
them all in one area and let them get better at being bad.
they paid like for like I guess the last resort one where they come and like kidnap you from your own house. And they say kidnap, but they basically come in your room while you're sleeping, and then they told her like, you want to do this the easy way or hard way, and they'll handcuff you and put you in a van. And so she was.
I've seen those videos.
I've seen them.
She was traumatized by this, and the whole thing about. Then she brought some of the other kids that did this too, and they're talking about how bad it was, and it didn't.
So
help
it's less
anything.
really about her and more about these type of like
that
strange
and where she is.
behavioral correction schools.
That and like the whole idea of like what she's been doing the whole time and acting dumb and stuff like that was like part of this brand that she didn't know. And then like the porno tape she talks about, and she did bring up a good point.
It's a great porno tape.
Which no one talks about that much.
But rush hours in the background.
What
I liked it.
Like how old was she? 18? She
I don't
said
know.
she was 18.
I was watching it this morning.
She,
Let me
I
check
believe, was of age. Yeah.
No. I know she was of age. It would be
Yeah.
a totally different. It would be a crime. But
Well, it should have been a crime anyway. But go ahead.
But she said I was 18 years old, and I was like, she was 18? I was like, my God, like 6 months earlier, this is a crime, and she probably looks the exact same.
Oh,
as
stop it.
No, but seriously,
19.
Yuck.
oh, she was 19, but imagine what she was, what she looked at 17 and a half. It's the same.
Yeah, no,
you know what
I
I'm saying?
feel you, dude.
But in society,
I got a daughter. It scares the hell out of me.
in our,
She was 18. Yeah. Only
Okay.
18. Yeah.
yeah. So in society, we'll like anybody that's with a 17 and a half year old will be like, oh my God, you're a mom. Not that it's just a bizarre reality
I
that we
understand what
live
you're
in. It's like 18 is like, oh, fine. 18, no big
No,
deal.
yeah,
Because
you-
everybody will look at it and be
Rules
like,
are
hey,
rules.
you saw the Paris Hilton sex tape? Like, everybody would be fine with that. If she was 17 and a half, people would be like, oh,
What does
condemn
she-
that man to
What does she
death.
say about it though? Like, does
She
she
said
talk
she was
about how?
dumb 18-year-old that, and then the guy that she was with was some sleazeball.
It was an older
POS.
dude that was
Yeah.
like a poker player, and you look.
He
if
filmed it to release it.
Teenagers
to
do
sell it.
dumb things,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
A lot of teenagers have sex tapes or pictures out there that they do with their boyfriend at the time, and they don't think because they're in love that
Oh,
that
yeah, of
person's
course.
going to
Yeah,
release
yeah,
things.
yeah, yeah.
So
She-
and
she
she didn't receive any money from that.
No, and she didn't do it on purpose. At least she said
like this
she
guy
didn't.
did this on purpose to make money.
Yes, yeah, and to be a POS and to get famous off of this or whatever.
That's
but,
bad.
But it also, it's like this. If you watch it, you're like, wow, this person's life is so foreign to all of us and to what reality is that how can you ever expect a person who lives their life like this to be a normal person
Yeah,
that you can
can't
relate
happen.
with? You know what I'm
Can't
saying?
happen.
So like, I'm watching.
We look
it
for
and I
that
feel-
in a lot of the quote idols and influencers that we have. We
Yeah,
look
yeah.
for that in whether it's politics, whether it's music,
Well,
whether it's
especially when
movies.
you grow up in it.
Yeah.
Right?
Not-
When it's your entire life from like birth,
Yes.
that's
Because that's
you're
a-
never going to be able to relate to
There was
quote
always
unquote
a,
normal.
there was
people.
always a part of me. I always found her
if you
to
got
be
rich later,
Right.
attractive,
And you
and I
know.
talked about that on the show, and stuff like that. And I always like, oh, she's cute and that sort of a thing. But for some reason, I always found her like beyond it. I'm not saying I'm like great at reading people, but it was always a little sad.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could feel it almost.
Yeah, and so and then she talked about like being traumatized by this and all that, and this caused all these problems.
She
and
said
then
she was like abused and stuff, right?
She
In some
said-
of the boarding schools.
she
I
said-
haven't watched it yet. I just seen like
Some of the quotes say that,
trailers.
yeah.
yeah, and what it's kind of ridiculous because then it got me thinking. I have two thoughts on this. One is, on one hand, I kind of sympathize. Like I don't look at the parents like they're monsters or whatever. Because Crystal thought differently. She was like, "Why would you do that? Like you have your kid kidnapped from your house by these people, terrifying and
Well,
stuff."
you
But
don't have the tools to provide what she needs,
Well,
right?
also,
As a parent.
there's two things. One is that the parents caused this a little bit to
Sure,
happen,
of course.
and then also it could be a mix of like sometimes I've had people that I've known that went through that time in their life and were like real bad, real like imbalanced kind of, and then it just evened out as they got older, and they went through their adolescence and it was troubled. And it was
That's
bad.
another thing. I don't know if they go into it
Yeah.
in this, but there are people with
Mental illness.
exactly,
yes,
and instead of being treated for it, they
they're just yelling
get
at them
thrown
in a
into boarding
campground.
schools. Yeah,
And this is
What you
ridiculous
guys
because
do to me?
it's old school.
Yelling at me.
It's the hey, we make fun of it all the time where bring the troubled kids to the prison and have inmates yell at them and say they're going to rape them and that will make them better. Like no. The reason they're like
needs
this,
therapy.
yeah, is there's a lot of probably combined things that's really complicated. Could be upbringing mixed with their mentality, some mental illness, some like chemical changes that are happening in their adolescence. That
Oh,
they can't
yeah.
like they need
Hormones.
they need therapy and a professional. They don't need some scary guy yelling at them. You better shape up. That doesn't work. It's kind of
No.
like.
Well, unless you're filming it for me to watch later,
Yeah,
and then it's hilariously funny entertainment.
It's good entertainment, but I really believe that mentality
Yeah, you're
left
right.
over of like, oh, if you trouble teen, I'll bring them out to the woods and yell at them and make them shovel horse manure, and that'll change
Well,
them.
that's kind of your toughen them up scenario, is it not?
Yeah, but it's all fantasy. Of course, that doesn't work. And
Yeah, it doesn't.
And what probably happens is that either some kids end up naturally getting better, right, as they age and get
Right.
more mature or whatever, and
That
then
could
there's
be the
that.
influence of other people in their lives too. You don't know.
Or they become addicts and die, or this.
Yeah,
you know,
I see a lot of that.
Who knows what happens after? But if there's any track record, really, that these things probably work, probably not.
I don't think so.
So anyway, she talks about that, and she just the overall feeling I got from him is like I felt sad for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this person is not like I would not want to live this person's life. There's nothing about this person's life that seems.
Does she seem okay now, or
She's now like it seems like she's got like maybe an addiction personality where she's like addicted to this fame and she said some dumb things obviously, but one of them was like I have to make $1 billion, like that's when I'll stop, is I'll stop when I make $1 billion, because I and then
she's pissed about the Kardashians, right?
Well,
Because like
maybe,
she
yeah.
kind of brought them
with
into the
that.
limelight,
Sure,
and
yeah.
now
Yeah.
the youngest is a billionaire.
Yeah, I could see that.
And she's got product lines and stuff. But
Yeah, and they were never as successful as the Kardashians.
yeah. I'm sure she's mad about that. But,
Yeah.
Well,
but
the
also,
scandal, you could say, hurt her. You know, I always thought that she appeared to be a little more,
but
not as hoity-toity. You know, maybe like a rung lower. You know, a little more. I don't know
Because-
how
Back
to-
then, yeah.
her
Yeah.
family, like the Kardashians, they just took it all. Like her dad wasn't even in this documentary. He didn't want to be a part of it. You know, like the Hilton and like the grandfather, like the
Right.
granddad Hilton. This is a
They just want the money. They don't want the celebrity. Yeah.
And it's a long line of wealth that is just something that we can't even understand. Like, so then you got this Hilton, the Paris, she's a wild child, and she did the porno tape. They talked about that, and the parents, and like the parents didn't leave the house for a month because they were ashamed and embarrassed. You know, obviously.
I was going to say that's weird. Why would you stay in the house for a month watching your daughter's
I do
porno
want to
tape?
mention that in the chat, Tuna Daddy is just commenting on what you've been saying,
Yeah.
Tom, and he says, so what you're saying is that forced trauma won't generate any kind of grit or hardworking attitude.
Hey, I'm learning that.
that's what I
I'm
said.
learning that.
I said that.
Me and
But-
Dan have been saying that for 5 or 6 years.
Yeah,
I
but
said
I
that
don't
2
listen to
minutes
you
ago.
guys. But you don't know what you're talking about. But
He has to watch a Paris Hilton documentary to
yeah.
figure it out.
What caused her? It's funny because like what caused her probably to be spinning out of control. Now it could be not this. If this person, Paris Hilton, was born in a different life and a poor person, like whatever, middle class, she probably would have still been a wild child. Like it was
Yeah.
just ingrained
It's
into who
just
she
her
was.
thing, yeah.
And but definitely those outward bound and stuff like that doesn't seem. And why I sympathize with the parent though, because I remember, and I think Daniel probably remembers this. I remember there was a time where my brother was so like going down the wrong path
No,
and
I
doing
totally
the wrong thing
remember all of this.
and doing all these bad things, and that I wanted to I was gonna, and they're expensive as hell, like $30,000.
Well, you had the brochoures and everything.
and
right?
I'm doing the poor one. Imagine what the Hiltons are.
Yeah.
So
Yours was the Red Roof Rehab, I think. Is what it was called.
but so because it was my last resort, we didn't know what to do, and that's I think what parents get put into, where they're like, this person that lives with my child, they
Well, you feel
won't
helpless,
listen,
and
they-
you're not thinking. You're thinking, well, what do I do? You know,
Yeah.
like
and they won't go to any therapist, and they won't, because
Right.
guess what? They're a troubled teen. They're not listening to anything you say. If you said
Yeah.
like, you know what you need? You need a good dose of weekly therapy with some meditation. It's like they're not doing anything. They're
Yeah.
like, F you, and that's what my brother was doing. And like I remember thinking that's the only way, but it's probably stupid because even though they'll tell you they have
what
track
is
record-
the other way? Just to keep trying, though.
I know, but
Until eventually
they've
you
run
break it
out,
down?
Yeah, and they've run out of all things. So I was like, in one aspect, I think these.
It's case by case.
It
for
is case by
sure.
case, and they need to be done differently. Probably they're probably too old school with we'll bring them out, we'll kidnap them, put them in the woods, and we'll scare them, and we'll make them work hard.
It's got
and-
to have worked once, or they wouldn't continue to do it.
Well, there's there's people.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, there's people that leave there and then they feel more motivated. Mainly, it's about, I think, in the one that I read, it was about giving the kids motivation and showing them that they can achieve goals and they can be self-sufficient and have
That's
self-esteem.
good.
The ones that I see
just-
that work are just that they
That's
make you
what it says
stick
on the
to the
brochure.
rules, if that makes sense. They're not kidnapping you. They're not
Yeah.
throwing you in the van. But if you mess up, if you're late to chow at 1 p.m.,
Yeah.
you are out of the program now.
I'm sure there's better
It's
ones.
like that.
There's got to be systems that reinforce positive, attitudes and like give you self-esteem, and that's all good. But also, it's case by case because who's running these things? Like an employee, and
Right.
like how trained is the employee? Is that employee care about their job, or are they just going to yell at punk ass kids and scream at them and make them
'Cause
sweep
it's
the
just a
floor?
paycheck,
Because
You should just use
yeah.
the nursing home model. I think it works great.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, some
Smells like pee-pee in here.
Some
God.
some nursing homes
fish tank.
are run well if they have good employees. Some bad if they,
Yeah. A lot of times it comes down to, well, how much are you spending on the place?
Yeah.
Oh, you have the
Of course.
$50,000 one?
Although-
Oh.
Absolutely.
Although Paris Hilton must have had the top quality one, you
Yeah.
know.
You would think.
So,
But sometimes there is a loophole at the top quality one
Yeah.
where if you're of top quality stock and they are the top quality facility, then you can have people on the inside still allow you
of
to
course,
be
yeah,
of top quality stock,
Yeah.
which defeats the purpose of you even being there.
Yeah. It's anyway, bad documentary, but it does show an insight into Paris Hilton if you're interested, because it's like, oh, okay.
How do they end it?
Person's
Give me the Cliff Notes.
it's
I
just
think I got it.
yeah. That's basically
All
it.
right.
Is that it?
Don't gotta watch it.
Yeah. Like, and also
They show her dogs pooping everywhere, the little puppies everywhere.
anyone that's been through some real trauma also looks at it and like, come on, grow up. You know, like because like you had no, I'm just saying, like, imagine Samantha, if you watch this, you'd be like, this is
I gotta watch it now.
this is a normal
Yeah.
Saturday in my
Now
childhood.
you'll be like,
This is-
oh, I do feel sorry for him, but he's not like me.
What happened to you is midway spectrum of bad. It's not even. It's middle of the road. I'm telling you, like you'll laugh because you're like, oh come on, this is not that
It's
bad.
the equivalent of them coming back and saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, man. We're all out of sweet potato fries."
But the thing is that being bad is subjective. That to her, that's the worst thing and most horrible thing that's ever happened to her
Yeah.
because
That's
she grew
true.
up rich. You
It
know,
is
what I'm
it's
saying?
perspective.
all
It's all
relative.
Anyway.
Uh-oh.
Oh, bye. Welcome back to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha and Butler are here hanging out with us. I think we're going to jump into some voicemails and emails. Do we have anything we need to plug before we do so?
I believe we got new merch on TomandDan.com.
We do. Been getting a lot of emails from people that heard me talk about our masks, and now that they've been shipped and rolling out, people are agreeing that it's one of the finest masks you can buy to work in because it's light and breathable. And it is.
No,
you can even put a filter in there. It's really, really good. Look, man, I hate wearing masks. I'm honest with you guys. It's not fun.
Might as well wear a comfortable one.
But these are the ones I wear. Yeah, they're made by Dome, the same people that make our hats. And if you have one of our hats, you know that they're fully customizable and amazing, and fully customable.
The people that hate wearing the masks wear the most uncomfortable masks.
I know. That's
You
why
do.
they hate
Like,
it.
I saw a guy at Disney get
they're-
kicked out because he had the hole in it.
had the joke hole?
Yeah.
What is it?
As a
No,
joke hole.
I know what you're talking about.
No, it's the little plug.
Mm-hmm.
The like, this is my air plug. To like,
air
I'm,
filter.
I'm Bane. I need this
Yeah.
mask. I can't wear a regular mask. I need the Bane mask with the hole in the side.
What does that do?
Nothing.
No.
Okay.
In fact, I think it makes more of your COVID spray fly out of the mask.
On the site, we have the Tom and Dan whiskey glasses, the BDM Stone coasters, the Summer Diner straw hat, the new Pabone sticker collection, which I need to get that. I don't
Dude,
have that.
And you guys put some of my favorite ones that I thought we nixed. You must have opened it up
The
and got
mucho,
all the
mucho
You got all of them, didn't you?
mediocre.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I said narrow it down to 4. When did I become the old miser on the money? I'm
I
like,
don't know
no.
who put all these in one collection, but that's
they're
up there.
awesome,
We have
dude.
the
Just-
men's BDM blue
Is it
T-shirt.
supposed to be 1 or 2?
The
What?
The collection. It's awesome.
I just said order
There's
them all.
like 10. There's 10
It's
stickers in that
great.
pack.
Yeah.
And then we have the BDM Blue Ladies baseball tee. We also have the BDM Ladies crisscross hat back up available on
Cool.
the site.
There
Oh, and we
you
didn't talk about the T&D team color shirts. Do you guys want to talk about that?
Oh yeah, well I just got my Dolphins one.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just
they
got
just
my.
got in over
I don't
the,
even know if I
break.
want to wear it, but I have my Atlanta Falcons one.
No,
My God,
That's
it's bad.
Oh, yeah,
But I
believe
would
me.
like to point out,
I was just as bad as you
and
because I lost money on
I
that.
find this really odd, but I'm just going to point it out. I have yet to throw in even week 1 on the beloved Bucks around here. I did not throw my shade when everybody was jumping off the Brady team, and I think they look pretty decent.
Yeah,
the Bucks.
yeah.
I think they look good, but I'd also like to point out that in true Buccaneer fan fashion, they're all digging on the Falcons. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to retaliate.
All right,
Go ahead and do it.
get off your high horse, Bucks fans. You beat old Stinky Driscoll. Anybody can beat
Yeah, they
him.
look a lot better than the Falcons. Maybe
so-
not first quarter, but first quarter we look amazing. Voicemails, emails.
Yeah. That's
All right, let's do some.
Oh yeah, old man Foles come in and
Gronk,
beat you guys.
Gronk finally caught a pass, and
Yeah.
he ran like maybe 7 yards. It was.
He did a
Good
little
job.
bit.
He
a
did
little
good.
bit.
His
got one pass,
His stiff
old
robot
man.
legs are looking great.
Yeah.
Y'all getting mad?
When he runs,
Bucks
you can just
finally
like,
winning
gang,
games.
gang. No, I'm not
I
mad at
bet
the
on
Bucks
the
winning
under,
games. I just find it very, very silly that Bucks fans will attack the Falcons, knowing that in a matter of minutes
Yeah,
you could
see, I
go
don't do
right
that.
know the
Yeah.
same old stinky Bucks. Look, I know
I'm waiting for
the
I'm waiting for the bottom to fall out. That first week was terrible
You
for the
gotta-
Bucks.
You got to ride the highs when that's happening,
Yeah.
and then when it's low, you
Indeed.
don't talk
You
about
just
it.
keep your
Yeah.
mouth
Yeah.
shut.
I'm learning that. It took me 44 years. All right. voicemails. If you want to leave us one, easy to do. Very, very easy to do. You can do it from our app. 2 ways to do it. Our app, you hit a button, but you got to hold it down. Talk into it. It's called Mediocre Messages. Super easy to do. Or you can call 1-844-TOMNDAN. That's 1-844-TOM, the letter N, Dan, and you might leave a message like this one.
Tom and Dan and Sam and Trav. Hey, it's Kenny, and I know that you guys make fun of Tom a lot for how he pronounces things like Disney and stuff like that. And, it doesn't really bother me too much. I get what he's saying, and, I'm kind of a little bit on Tom's side there. But there's one word that for some reason annoys the crap out of me, and it's when he says coupon and he pronounces it coupon. And it's not so much that he says coupon, because I technically know that that's a way to say it, but it's like he's emphasizing the Q. It's like coupon code. And I'm like, just say coupon or coupon. Why do you have to say coupon code? I don't know. For some reason, out of all the wrong things that he says, that's the one that bothers me the most. Either way, love you guys. Bye.
Is it? I mean, okay.
I think I say both.
We might as well talk about this now. For months, Tom and I have both been using the phrase coupon because we both believe that there's a secret operative somewhere within the United States named Q who is releasing little tidbits and breadcrumbs, a trail of breadcrumbs to you and I, so we, as operatives against the deep state, know all the information and will eventually be able to save all the babies.
Is that a thing?
That is a thing. Yeah, it's definitely a thing. It's sad. People in my family believing in it. It's bad. It's real bad.
Yeah. You're like,
yeah, it is. I'm like, and it all started at a pizza restaurant, Tom.
Yeah, I know. For me, I don't even know about these things because
don't read them.
No. To me, it's why are you doing this to yourself?
I just get them as forwards sent from the lovely state of Virginia.
And then and also, like, what are you going to do about it? You're the manager of Qdoba.
Why would there be a deep state? Why would there be an operative that was leaking a trail of breadcrumbs to a man who works at Qdoba?
No, I'm just saying that they believe that's going on.
No, they do. I know they do.
Qdobanon.
You're trying to fight the good fight, but like, what are you doing?
I am making a shirt that says Qdobanon.
Anyway,
follow the trail of the tortillas.
I never learned how to speak properly, so
we all have. I have a couple ones that I do that I say, and then
I
people.
think some of it is we get it from our parents,
Yes,
right? The
absolutely.
way they say things, we'll end up saying it that way.
100%.
I have conversations with my mom. She says things. I'm like, oh my god. But I'm like, I got it from you.
Like I
learned it from you, Mom.
I have gained one from my mom, and my mom always said salsa. I will say salsa instead of salsa.
You will, but I always thought you were doing that as a joke.
No, I forget that I'm doing it, and then I'm glad you think it's a joke. Just like anything Tom does, that's the same thing.
There's a difference between the inflection or saying things tomato, those kind of things where like, okay, there's two different ways to say aluminum and aluminium.
Butler's got some good ones.
Yeah. The British do it a lot.
Well, he does it a lot just because I think he's one step higher than you in reading.
But I'm saying things clearly wrong, and for no reason. Like I thought
flush it out,
wheelbarrow, flush it out. All
what? Wheelbarrow?
He thought it was a barrel.
Yeah, I would say it like
but
wheelbarrow.
But I think a lot of people think that. I hear a lot of people say wheelbarrow.
I know.
People actually, more than Tom, say wheelbarrow.
100%. Yeah. Probably most of the kids I grew up with say wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
Because it also means people think it's like a barrel. Yeah, it's It's Florida education.
I am not joking.
Oh, I have a lot of them. I just can't think of them right now. You guys just aren't as mean as me, and you never call me out.
I'm trying to think of
like
ones
coupon.
I'd say.
Like when I'll say coupon, I never thought that it was coupon. That's weird. Coupon. That's the.
Well, you don't have to say it like you're that Hawaiian.
Yeah, you're emphasizing it too much.
Coupon. I know what's happening here. Coupon.
Yeah, you don't. You're just saying it weird.
Yeah, why do you say it like a Hawaiian ukulele man?
Idiot. That's what. Idiot. I don't. I'm not exaggerating. I wish I could take a lie detector. I don't recall ever being taught anything.
All right. Write that down.
Like, I have no memory of like remembering some teacher or whatever like teaching me
Do you
something,
remember me
and then me
Hold
learning
on.
and being like, oh, I learned it.
Hold on, maybe I have one. You remember me showing you how to use Pro Tools?
Yeah. As an adult, yeah. But I'm saying the
He
ingrained
blocked
stuff.
out a lot of his childhood,
Yeah,
man.
Well,
I don't know. I may have.
wouldn't you? You
Yeah.
have too.
But I feel like I remember more than my childhood
Yeah,
than he
women.
does.
But women typically, I feel like let more in, and cognitively,
Yeah.
I think just based on the way you're designed, you're smarter out of the gate. I think women are. I just
Maybe.
think
I don't know.
I've always thought that. Like women, if you look at it for
Like,
the
you don't
most
remember
part,
learning how to read?
No,
I don't remember that either.
No?
Also, I don't think like I.
Or learning your ABCs or anything?
I remember knowing the song a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
He also
I must
doesn't
have
believe
learned-
that you can remember anything from your childhood because I tell him things that I remember, and he's like, "That's an impossible memory. You're an idiot. Pull your pants down."
I did, yeah. I apologize. I used to think that I was like everybody.
You've
but
always
I
told me
realized
my
I'm
memories are
way
dumb. I
different.
was like, I can remember standing in my crib when I was like 2 or
You're a
3.
crazy
And you're like,
person.
"You're an idiot. Pull your pants down."
I didn't even think that was possible, but now I'm learning that like you can and how
It's
messed
probably
up.
a combination of you blacking out a lot of your childhood and all the concussions.
There's like a lot of bad
yeah.
things, and then the alcohol.
Oh.
I mean, the
Age.
poison, all the poison. I've drank 2 can charges of poison. That's not gonna help.
You
things.
drank them fast like I do. Hey,
Yeah,
I gave up soda, guys.
Yeah, that's good.
This is my 6th day no soda. It's bad, man.
Well, the caffeine. Do you still
I'm
taking?
doing caffeine. I did, but not overly caffeinated. This morning I did a coffee. That's it.
Okay,
Just a coffee.
because that's where
It
you
was a
get the
large coffee,
withdrawal.
but it was
Yeah.
a coffee.
Yeah.
But I didn't. Normally I would do coffee, can of charge,
Yeah.
can of charge, can of Mountain Dew, can of Mountain Dew, can of Mountain Dew, can of Mountain Dew, Diet Coke, water to be healthy, 4 Mountain Dews, sleep with a Mountain Dew inside my
Yeah.
big.
I'm getting a coffee maker because
Wow, how 1950 of you.
or a Keurig or
who's
something.
gonna teach you how to use it?
Butler taught me how to use this
But
one.
then you
and
forgot it the next
then
day.
you forgot
I'll
how-
read
He
the
does
thing.
forget. That was a test.
Yeah.
Litmus test.
I was gonna say a lot of it's not blocking out; it's just not wanting to be taught. And my GD sons are like this, and it's the most frustrating thing to ever go through because
Yeah, I'm
Max,
aware.
I will go to the putt golf place, and then I'm like, "Let me teach you, Max. You gotta put your like." And he's like, "No!" He grabs the thing. He's like, "Yeah."
That's what you do.
Yeah, that is
And
what
I'm
you
like, just
do.
listen to me. I'm gonna teach you. Don't. And then he can't. He gets mad if someone's trying to teach
And
him.
then he's like, "Give me 2 weeks of anything you want me to do,
And I'm
and
like-
I can figure it out."
I'm like, "Oh, they're ruined like me." That's what I
Yeah.
screamed. And then Tommy, and I used to think it was my dad died. It turned off my feelings. It's just I was born that way. Tommy is just aloof, like looking at horrible things and fine with it. Like, yes, he just doesn't care. Like I'm like, oh, there it is. I'm seeing
Tommy,
them.
what are you doing? Watching a murder?
And I think people do this where they go back and they start trying to figure out the clues of, oh, this is why I'm like this. And I think it's a lot more of a. We say this all the time.
Aren't
but,
most things like
yeah. You were born that.
we try to overcomplicate everything.
Now there's certain trauma real bad that
yeah.
turn you, but I never had that. It was just the dad dying thing. So I
Like,
don't think I
for
think
the-
it was just how I am.
For the first 7 years of my life, my dad would make me sleep inside of a coffin with his dead father.
I could see that being a little
Yeah,
traumatic.
that will
it
change.
was bad. It was
Yeah,
bad.
That's like rolling down the
Well,
mountain.
it was
You'll be changed
worse.
forever
It
after
was
that.
a lot worse in the later
Yeah.
years because it was all just bones, and that's a hard sleep. In the beginning, it was a little
A little
cushier.
cushy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But then once
The
the
smell,
once
ugh.
the sweater started, the moth started eating his cardigan. It got real dicey in there. Email, please.
Okay. Amazon tips. Hi there. Helpful tip.
Oh, careful.
Helpful hints.
First day back. Got her.
Get her. Take your pants off.
Since we got so many from y'all. So if you click on the reviewer's name, you can see if they're legit, as there will be reviews on other items. You can also quickly check if they are always saying things are bad. Also, in reading reviews, I always read the verified purchasers only and also the most recent, as products can change. Lastly, if you contact Amazon, which you can do via chat, ask for them to send the return so you can take it to any UPS store. It takes little time, but otherwise you go all the way to Kohl's, park, get out of the car, etc. Obviously, I was listening to an ACT. BTM for life.
I went to Kohl's yesterday.
The
Got
return.
myself some, I just bought some cool water cologne. I bought a pair of Rockport walking shoes.
Yeah.
And I got my wife a sensible mini bread maker.
I was looking around at like stores in like Glenwood is a small town.
Thinking
like,
of changing your style?
no, but I'm looking at all these stores that like sell like ski clothes and accessories, and I'm just looking at
Losing
them.
their
Like,
asses.
yeah. I'm just like, oh God, there's no way you'll survive.
It's sad, man.
Like who, you get some tourists and stuff, but it's like everybody just buying
man.
online, dude.
Nothing sadder than a dusty No Fear backpack.
It's
You look over as a dusty Burton, No Fear, all these, because it's supposed to be aggressive and used.
Yeah, so I'm looking in the store, and it's the stereotypical, like, there's Burton, all the snowboard gear, and then like they're gearing up for fall season and like all the stuff, and I'm just like, I want this store to survive, and I think it's cool, and I'm like an old man that still wants stores and stuff, but I'm like, what path of you staying in business and flourishing, like in a time where more, especially COVID, but not even in that, where more and more people are shopping online, like this is never going to last.
Yeah.
It won't, right? Is there
I
any
can't see it.
is there any scenario I'm not looking at that could keep this? I mean, besides from tourists, just
Well, they're trying.
window shopping.
A lot of
how
it's
can
the
that pay?
service. A lot of it's the
True, yeah, you're getting
But that only goes so far in retail when you're shopping for something,
yeah,
because there's only so much they can do.
and I feel there's a million YouTube videos. If you want to see a professional tell you about something, there's all the reviews.
That's what I do now.
Yeah. You're gonna get curated lists.
There is an audience there, though, of consumers that love the instant gratification.
That's
yeah,
true.
Butler and I are a lot like that. Like, I know if he has his druthers, you can either drive to GameStop and pick up, the whatever.
Yeah, you don't
or
wanna wait,
I
yeah.
would drive. And I think he would too. If we wanted, like I've done it before for
Yeah.
pieces of equipment that we need, I could Amazon it.
There are
But
a
I'd
ton
rather
of
go
people
get
like
it.
that. So
Yeah. Now, but enough to
That's-
keep your business going.
I don't
No.
think so
It's-
because
I
it's
am a-
slowly dying as
I'm a
people
rarity,
get older.
right?
Yeah.
Because
your daughter's going to grow up with just buying online for the most part.
she already knows how.
That's what I'm
Like,
saying.
Yeah.
It's already a thing. And like, if we ask her now, like, you know what sucks? I was going to save this for Friday, but you know what kind of sucks? And I don't know if your boys have done this or maybe the trip helped them.
Yeah.
But I've noticed that there is a comfortability factor that my daughter has now because of COVID in the house. Mm-hmm. In that, and because of the pressure of the virus. Now, we don't talk about it. We don't turn the news on. I don't talk about it with Andrea.
Yeah.
She doesn't need that
But
weight.
they're aware that
Yeah.
this is why, and they accept. It's funny because they
know.
are fine with and accept the way things have to be now.
Kids are quick to adapt.
a lot better than,
they're just like, okay,
because
wear a
we're
mask
old,
on.
we're stuck in our ways.
lot-
They're just like, all right,
They're
learning something new.
A lot easier to get them to do anything than it would be for, let's say, a 55-year-old Gators fan.
Right.
Man at Walmart. He's going to start punching your safety
Oh,
glass.
then I pull my gun out. I'm wearing it.
Yeah, he's
I'm like,
insanity.
mask.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to jail.
Like, literally, my daughter's bleeding, and I'm like, I'm sorry, we have nothing to do with it. The new rules say you got to let it bleed out. She'd be like, okay. Like, she's
Yeah.
tough.
Like, you don't want to go. You don't want to wear a mask, but you're gonna go to jail. That's worse. That's so bad.
You're going to get your jean shorts all dirty when you fall on the ground and start wrestling with somebody on the floor of Walmart in front of the claw machine.
You're waving around your gun, but you're gonna
Stop
go to
it.
jail, and I imagine you're not gonna like it in there.
So, but I have noticed that I asked her to do things, and she'd rather just have it come to the house. Like, hey, that's up at Target. We can run up there and snag it real quick, like a game. Let's say it's like Chutes and Ladders. She's like, no, we can just order it and wait.
oh, really?
Because there's a comfortability
Yeah.
in knowing that.
That's how I am now.
And it,
I just signed up for
But it
the
hurts my
yearly,
heart, Sam.
the year
Yeah.
grocery shopping delivery.
It hurts
because
my
I'm just
heart.
like, you know what? Just pay for the year because I'd rather just not go. I hate going to the grocery store. I hate it.
you hated it before COVID.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, and there's things that I'm sure people like the groceries delivery service, and Crystal's the same way. Even before COVID, she's found it out, and she's like, great, and she just started using it. And even
Yeah,
though
but they would nickel and dime you before, and now they give you the option to pay $100 for the full year instead of like $10 every single
Right.
time.
Yeah,
so I'm
yeah.
like,
It's
just
become
you know what,
cheaper, yeah.
just do that because
there's those things that may end up being better because we're like, okay, what experience was I getting going to the grocery store? But there's other things that I think, provide you just a general life experience that may we may
have
weed out of
one-
society and become like crazy recluses where
No,
we're never
man,
leaving our house.
experiences are different than grocery shopping.
True.
just
But
have
are
one
there
thing-
things that people are missing out on because they don't want to,
I
go
have
out?
one thing I would change, though. And I think if we increase living like this, we will take on my idea. But Shipt and Instacart shoppers need their own store that they go to that's constantly being
Yeah, they're
replenished and stocked.
aggressive over here. at
They
the
are not
Publix.
fun to shop around. And look, I'm
No.
not throwing shade at you because, I'm
Well,
not.
they're business shopping.
Yeah,
Like,
they're
it-
bu-
Yeah, but guess what? I'm business shopping too, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to get my business and get out of here. And you are rushing and knocking into me and
Yeah.
stopping in front
They
of
were
every
the
single
worst
aisle.
when we had the lanes that would go one way. They were
Yes,
the worst.
they were the
and it was
worst.
like not fun. But if we gave them their own area to go that's bigger and larger where they work out of, where it's always being replenished, wouldn't that be better for everybody?
Well, the logistics
Give
are
them a hub.
impossible because
Or give them an area that they go, or an hours. Give them hours that they can go. You can only do it between this hour and this hour.
that
Then that cuts into the convenience of the
yeah.
delivery.
I don't
yeah,
care.
I don't either.
Because if not, I'm going to start knocking some green shirts down.
They are aggressive at this Baldwin one. I don't know what it is. I've never seen more aggressive Instacart people.
well,
Oh, yeah. Juan's right in our Twitch chat room.
the
Twitch.
faster they do it, the more they get paid, right?
I think so. Twitch.tv/Tomadan Live. He says you're missing out on getting mad that somebody has 50 items in the express lane or they've parked their cart in the middle of the aisle. That's true.
Yeah.
But I've actually seen Instacart people and Shipt people doing that.
Yep. Because they're trying to be
You
fast.
and I saw
Yeah,
a Shipt lady that
absolutely.
must have 70 items on a
Yep.
single conveyor belt. Now, she might have been waved through. Sometimes they do that. But
Well,
I don't like
Odds
shopping
are
with them.
no.
You know what's interesting is we're seeing.
Ooh, that was a grumpy old man. That felt good.
yeah. Oh, I'm about to go into it more too because
right, here we go.
Yes. Back from vacation, grumpy.
I'm chewing ice. I'm getting grumpy. All right, let's do it.
we don't have much time, so
Yeah. I'll be quick. We're watching the natural progression of these peer-to-peer things. Like, remember when Uber first started? It was like you got picked up by a dually and like a real nice BMW. Like, people were doing it because of novelty. Then it weeded out all the way to the
Whoa.
people that desperate needed to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
bad.
and then everybody who was doing it for novelty or they were trying it out for a little bit, they all are gone. And now it's the people that are like, need it and need the money, so then there's that. And I think the same thing happened with Shipt and all these Instacart things, because the first people that showed up to my house were like older, like middle-aged moms that like their kids went to college and they needed something to do, and
Yeah.
they're like super polite and nice, and like, and then now it's weeded out to the people that are desperate. And so then when you have desperate people, they
Yeah.
are running through the aisles and not,
I enjoyed Shipt before when it was like a cute Asian mom that delivered my groceries, but the last time I got my groceries, I was like staring into a mirror. There's like some short tattooed guy handing me all my stuff, and half of
desperate,
it's wrong, and
Yeah.
I'm like, well, this isn't right.
And they'll add stuff to like to pump up, or they'll buy you the expensive version of what you
no,
wanted.
you gotta
to-
click no substitutes. You
oh,
gotta
yeah,
click
no.
no
What if they
substitutes.
substitute? Well, how do you get back at them?
You
You get it refunded.
You
that's
can,
kinda
but it's a process.
Oh, I don't like
I'm
process.
just
It's
like,
not that.
oh,
It's literally one click.
I'll
dude.
do
Throw it
5
at
cans
your-
of beans.
I'm gonna
I did
throw
get-
these beans at your
I did get
Corolla.
a pallet of 60 eggs one time for no reason.
But can we agree, though, the one good thing that's come out of the
Oh.
pandemic, they leave the groceries at the door, and then
Oh,
you know
that
how
is-
And
that
then they
is.
say, bye-bye.
It is your OG show of the week, show number 373, Ticket Fail.
All right.
I believe this is the one where you go bananas at the end
Okay.
of the show.
All right. About getting a ticket?
No. Remember your old ticket challenge you used to do?
Oh, yeah. This is the last one we did. Failed miserably.
This may have been the last one. So we have a couple of memorable things that were on this particular show.
I say failed, but I don't know what success would be.
Right.
I don't know what I expected.
Well, this one's interesting because ticket fail. The interesting thing about this one is I believe, right after, remember when Ross took the summer break? Because he was, we always said spending more time with his kids. That wasn't a fucking lie. It was just,
Yeah.
it's just the summer
what
extended
he
to
said he
more.
wanted to do, yeah.
We didn't pay him more, and it became a thing.
Yeah.
So
he needed, like, his wife worked, and so he needed to be with his kids.
So
during the
this is
summer.
his first show back. So
Okay.
he's back. Let's see here. Then we talk about it in the show notes at the top. It sounds like I'm kind of stressed out because I says, as we all know that many of you will enjoy today's show, Tom and I were less than impressed. It was a perfect case of just trying to squeeze way too much into the show. We had Seth, we had guests, we had an Indian princess, we had a ticket challenge, we had emails, we had news, we had phones. We tested them directly before the show, and then we had everything fail.
Okay.
Do you remember this? I don't remember this, but it looks stressed out because look how perfect my notes are.
This is pre Adderall, so I was driving Daniel fucking insane probably. I'm trying to squeeze everything in there, ADD crazy.
So we have Ross is back today.
Before Samantha was organizing stuff for us, like she was doing it, but not full time. So how could she,
Right, and I'm assuming this was still when Lee was over here running phones.
You gotta be somewhere around there. Yeah.
He makes an appearance at some point.
Oh yeah. Then that going on, that didn't help.
Or maybe he hasn't started yet.
There's a lot of I've learned some things as I get older. I'm trying my hardest to learn, and one of them is that we can't do a good show if we're fucking packing tons of shit.
We need to be planned, but not too much.
Yeah. If we try to,
it's like dressing. Like your jeans can be tight on your ass, but not so tight that when you go to sit down, you bust out the ass in them.
Yeah.
You just want them snug with a little bit of room.
There's a happy medium.
And I realized what me and you do, and we all do, best is when we're like talk about funny shit and make each other laugh, but that's got to be in a good environment of relaxed and not give a shit and not stressed, because the more stressed out we are and the more we're trying to like fit it in and make it work, the less I believe the product
because you're focused more on getting everything fit in instead of making it a funny show.
And
show.
I used to think like, we could just we'll do these things and make it funny and naturally funny and relaxed and be like,
force
you can't.
the funny.
Sometimes the process is more important than even the things that we have to do.
Yeah. Almost like the topics, and that's some of the whole dump them out and all this, us writing down a bunch of topics and never talking about them. It's like, that shit, none of that shit matters. It doesn't matter. That's why I think the incarnation of just having people come on the show and do bits, it doesn't matter what they fucking do or say or whatever. It all matters how we're going to receive it and react. And if we're calm and don't give a shit and we're fucking around, that's the best product that we could do. And I'm learning. And don't took 10 more, 12,
10, 15, 20.
20.
Do you remember Emily, Cherokee tribal member?
This vaguely
I feel like this would have been the time when we were trying to really dial down whether you and Sam were truly Native American.
Yeah. And then I was still holding on to something until I found that document. I'll pop up that he hired the private investigator, and he went back and
did it say like sealed documents never open?
No, it was a whole report. It was like on yellow paper, because paper turns yellow after. Like this shit was from the.
Or maybe your grandpa pissed on the paper because he's mad.
And cigarette smoke just made it yellow.
Yeah. Who do you think has a famous person in their family?
Like do
you have a famous person in your family?
No.
You got a famous person in your family? Guaranteed he does.
Well, Butler's probably the most famous person
Butler,
in his family. He was
Butler,
on Dawson's Creek.
You have famous people in your family, right?
No.
I knew it.
Bloodline. The Netflix series.
What, a vampire?
For sure, Butler's like. I think British people do the same shit.
My cousin's married to a guy that has a bunch of Grammys. Does that count? Technically, not my blood family.
Grammys of Coke?
It's via marriage.
No. What for? A musician? Producer?
Yeah.
Although, do more people know who you are?
No, famous means fame, not rich. So Grammy is not famous.
Yeah, because I bet you
Grammy's successful.
But in the Christian music community, he's pretty famous.
Oh, then that counts.
Yeah.
I guess
cousin is Emma Stone.
Come on.
Wait, what?
Hold on.
Hold on.
Your wife's cousin's Emma Stone.
Correct.
No.
Real like blood cousin?
Yeah.
How?
Not second cousin.
No, it's down the line.
It's like eighth cousin. No, this doesn't count. Through marriage. No.
That's not cousin.
Well, I mean, technically it is.
You're not like Julio Jones. You're like, my cousin's coming up in the
it was like
and the Gators wide receiver. It's like, no, not really. He's like, kid you grew up with. Is it something like that?
No, they've never met.
Okay, well, that's not even that.
Jesus Christ.
I love Butler. He's my favorite.
Okay, let's dissect
Yeah.
what happened. Butler comes here, sits down,
Says
happy
that
fucking.
his wife's
He
cousin
said, hey,
is Emma
stop-
Stone.
hey, guys, I'm going to tell you, my wife
You know, he sat down and I turned
Emma
his fucking
Stone.
camera on.
Yeah, I'm like, Emma goddamn Stone? Zombie
Oh, wait, I was
Land?
wrong. It's Roger Stone. And she has talked to him many times. And weird glasses. Weird glasses.
Now, did you predict that by telling us that, then we
We
would
just go along with it?
we'll be
immediately
like, okay,
start...
thanks, Butler. Good job.
we were like, oh my God, please, God, get us some tickets to
Interview.
Red interview.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, could you get her on
Can
the
she
show?
kiss me upside down? Like, wait, that was the other one.
Did you think it was going to play
That
out
was,
where
what was her? Kirsten Dunst.
we were going to praise you? No, here's the
No,
problem. If we
I
did-
expected it was going to go exactly the way I thought it was going
All
to
right,
go.
at least that's good. At least
He
you're
knows. He knows. What
not
do you think he ran
insane.
into? Choppers only run to the action.
There's a formula to this now.
Yeah,
I figured
he
it
knows
out.
what he's doing.
You know what? That is a Chopper thing
Yeah.
where you're excited to tell someone a
Like,
lie.
I've been dying.
Not a lie.
Not
Not a lie.
I've been dying to talk to them about Emma Stone.
Yeah, but here's why it is a lie, because when you say
No, it's not a
someone-
lie. If she's the cousin,
But
then
you-
that's the thing.
But when you say someone's your cousin, right, it implies that you have at least met them one time, right?
I don't
We
think
got-
so.
No.
Not necessarily.
I haven't met all my cousins.
That's true. I haven't met all my cousins.
Well, no, but you say she's my cousin. She didn't say second cousin or cousin removed.
Now
Right,
you're getting
I'm
into
saying-
the semantics.
yeah.
yeah,
great
I haven't
podcast.
met some of my first cousins, though. They live in a different state.
Yeah, me either. And I don't say what
Yeah.
cousin they are because that's none of your fucking business.
But if your first cousin was Emma Stone, I feel like you would have Facebook friended her or at least
Right,
something.
Oh, yeah.
right, right.
I don't think she'd have
Or
a Facebook, right?
you got
Because then
the-
I'm just talking to her publicist.
If it's your first cousin, you got the same grandma, right? So that's how it works.
Yeah, that is how it works.
So
You would have
like,
met
I
at,
feel
like-
like there would be some sort of camaraderie, like, "Hey, Meemaw's doing bad this week," or something, right? Like,
No, it goes
if
weird.
if I got the same grandma as Emma Stone, I'm fucking Facebooking her
Yeah.
and saying, "Hey, have you
you
talked
heard
to
about
Meemaw?"
Grandma?
Yeah, somehow.
She fell
Because-
in Walmart next to the Cruising USA machine and broke her goddamn hip.
Because it's my chance to talk to Emma Stone, so I'm gonna bring up the
You've
grandma.
turned your back on this family, Emma Stone. You could be helping Grandma right now, but instead I'm the one at her house, and I'm feeding her because she slipped on a wet floor. She slipped on a Slurpee in front of the Golden Tee.
So if I run in the room and tell everybody my grandma is, or sorry,
And then Grandma's like, and then of
My
course Grandma's
cousin-
like, has Emma called? No, Emma hasn't called, and you know she hasn't called, Graham, because
so-
she hates her.
it's removed cousin. Is it anywhere close enough for your wife to send an email about grandma?
No, I don't know. See, I think it's Jen's
Wait,
dad.
we're gonna send a fake email to Emma Stone saying
on.
that her grandma's
I
dead?
want to follow this family
This
tree.
is awesome. This is the best 90s radio bit we've ever done.
I think
We have to do it on April 1st. Nobody does it.
Jen's dad's parents were like really old, so I think Jen's dad's mom is Emma Stone's like great grandmother or something.
Yes. Old,
Your
old
wife's-
Pappy Stone.
That's mom.
So his wife's grandmother.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mimi Stone.
Yeah, is Emma Stone's
Like great grandmother.
a
Yeah.
great? How is that possible?
Because Jen's dad is the youngest of his family, and he's the one of like 7 or 8 or something like that.
Right.
Her dad's
yeah.
John Voight. It's fucking crazy.
He's 74, and all of his siblings are almost all dead. They're like his like next kin, I think, is like 80 or 90 or something.
I wonder if it's a normal thing for celebrities to start getting.
She's from
emails.
for
Reading,
sure.
Pennsylvania. Her family's from Reading,
Yeah,
Pennsylvania.
yeah.
So.
So like
He's still feeding you knowledge. I can feel you
I've already
moving on.
given him.
Moving on. And he's saying, I love this. This is
Yo,
my favorite
because
thing.
you know what it means? Nothing. Nothing.
Okay, I'm gonna Christmas card.
Ooh.
Hey,
What do you get?
my
is
cousin's
Butler-
Emma Stone. It doesn't mean
No,
anything.
hold on a second. He just threw a
It's
gauntlet.
literally nothing.
You're blinded by anger right now. He just said, I'm getting a Christmas card. If you get a Christmas card from Emma Stone, what
Pizza
if...
party.
No way. You don't get nothing from Emma Stone.
Because
Nothing.
we don't believe it.
She don't know you exist.
No.
Or the
What if
immediate
Butler got
family.
his picture made? with Emma Stone.
If you could do that,
then you have to get
He's gonna
tattoo.
Photoshop himself with her.
I can make my picture. Yes, I could do that.
If you could
That's easy.
somehow have any correspondence with Emma Stone whatsoever, what do you want?
Get us
What
an
do you-
interview.
All right, I
what-
can use. I can find her publicist. That'd be easy to do.
I can do that.
You know what super famous celebrities, A-list celebrities often don't do is talk to crazy people who send them emails or send emails to their publicist. They throw that in the digital trash.
I am related to you. Yeah, like she's never
Fucking
got
family, bro.
Yeah, you know what publicists' job are? Literally to not bother
You
their
know what
client.
they say?
with
Nut
anything.
butter's thicker than water.
They literally will say no to every interview. If fucking USA Today reaches out to Emma Stone and wants to talk about something, they will say nope, not interested. You know, that's what the publicist's job is.
Yeah, the Daily Chopper.
So I'm trying to think of what I could get because I'm slightly afraid of Butler pulling this off because he does some crazy shit sometimes that he should not like sail across around the world. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
but we don't know if that's true. This is all
We
word
don't
of
know.
mouth by Butler.
His
Right.
real name is Randy.
I don't know what's true, but
Private Paul Randy.
he's enough of Mysterioso, as my
Yeah.
nanny used to
There's
say.
Yeah, but it's all like stories. There's
Yeah.
never
It
any
is, yeah.
proof.
You're like
of
the
anything.
character.
But he fixed that dryer that time, and I still haven't paid him
I
his
don't-
$100.
I don't believe that he did it.
Oh, you think it's a scam? He
It's
tried
a
to scam us?
scam.
Yeah.
He's sort of like the character in Zootopia. He's just a fun-loving, lying fox. That he's just spinning a yarn, and you want him to win. You're rooting for
Yeah.
him, but he's
everything about it is
it's just
deceiving.
it's not reading true.
Yeah.
There's some lies here. I
Yeah,
feel.
yeah, it's all
Then
tall
eventually you
tales.
wake up in a limo with a mole.
It's all
know what
shiesty
I'm
tall
talking.
tales. Okay, so if you were able to get any correspondence from Emma Stone that we can prove, what should I give up? What should
Every
I do?
week he comes up with a new one, and I'm just like, how does he top himself?
Are you willing to put something up on the table? How confident are you that you could, like, is it
If
you
you put something up,
okay.
Like, if you
I'm
do
going
it-
to get you the Christmas card. What are you putting on the
if
table?
you
No,
get
no,
the
I don't
Christmas
want-
card, then Tom has to get the Circle Gators logo tattoo on his butt cheek.
tattoo. Oh, I'm gonna go with the
And if-
old sexy radio.
Photo
90s,
shoot.
the sexy.
Ooh, Tony Rage photo shoot.
Yes, it's it's a quintessential 90s.
And if
Tony Rage.
if you win,
Wait,
then
what?
Right, a
No,
photo
So
shoot
you're
of my
gonna
wife?
dress up? Wait, who's dressing
What?
up
No,
sexy?
the loser gets the sexy photo shoot, and you have to put it out in public.
Yeah,
the
calendar.
BDM page.
Spaghetti
I don't-
model.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I'll do it.
It's got to be very
That's
Owen
not
Mills.
embarrassing. I'll take a picture
No,
of
but
myself
you have
all
to.
half
you
naked
have
in
to
a
be,
calendar.
Every other month has to be an erection. It has to be flaccid erection,
No,
flaccid erection.
I'm just.
Oh, like full on dick.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's like
okay.
6 erections in 6 months that are flaccid.
I'm just
Okay.
talking about glamour shot style.
Oh.
you
Why do
know,
I always
it's the-
go too far?
Yeah, it's the 90s, the quintessential 90s.
And if you win,
Gag.
you can take the one from his wife's extremely expensive cryogenics machine and stick it in your butt.
No, this is not. I'm not at the level of
Stinky.
old Tuttle.
Freeze your roids up. I think it'd be good. I think it'd
Put
be
this in
good.
my ass and expand it. Like, Jesus Christ, man! It's a fucking. This is terrestrial
he
radio.
doesn't do that anymore. He's
Why are
straight.
you doing this?
He's on a straight path
He'll
now.
be back. I'll bet. Anybody want to
Okay,
bet me
hold-
that?
Yeah.
I will bet a
might
lot on
already be
that.
happening.
I'm afraid that. Here's the thing. I am very confident that Tuttle will be back, willing to bet 1,000 on that. I'm kind of afraid he'll get the Emma Stone some shit. So I'm not as confident. I'm not going to put up a grand.
How about a
Jen's dad has been in correspondence with Miss Stone before,
how
and to
about
build this whole like.
how about a soapy butt
family
replica
tree.
of Minnie? How about a mini butt?
But from what?
How about
Pocket
why
size.
don't you
I
give him
can't-
a soapy butt junior? You know.
I cannot. I'll go there and sneak a picture.
No, you have to get
Oh,
a little
you know
one. Like
Mad
how about a
Chris will be-
baseball card? You know, and then on the back it's got her stats like you do with kids. You know, you're like, it's Scotty. His favorite position's midfield.
Listen,
left-handed.
Exactly. Favorite things, her favorite food, Cheerios.
I'm not ready to involve Crystal in anything because it's been a long vacation. There's a lot of mistakes made.
You were getting some. We were getting some text messages when she popped into the chat.
Yeah. That was a mistake. That was one of the long lines of mistakes I've made this past week, and I cannot involve Sophie, but I have to involve myself. And I
We
think
didn't know your wife was riding the old white sail canoe.
I think we're doing the old sexy photo shoot. Whoever loses. So
Wait, you're gonna do it? No, you've already done it. You gotta do something
what?
different.
I've never done the sexy. That was the
I thought
one.
you've done one.
No, that was the 190s radio thing. That was a SBK.
Oh,
What
Tuttle.
would you wear?
Well, you
For a
got
sexy
I don't know.
Fairville and lingerie.
no, I mean it's like I don't know what.
You look good though. You both look good.
Wait,
so.
does the winner get to pick out the outfit for the loser that they have to wear?
Well,
Fits.
here.
Oh, he wants multiple
You
outfits.
realize none of this is going to happen.
I know, yeah, you're right. Why am I putting so much energy?
No, how
mean,
much time do you want?
Here's what just happened. The liar that we hired came in and told lies to the king liar.
Yeah.
and then liar Junior sits with producer and laughs and laughs. That's what just happened.
Yeah, that I'm.
Welcome back.
Oh, we just.
What'd he say?
No, he said nothing. That's what he goes. But I'll just.
Oh.
Why'd you stop, man?
One more sip of Mountain Dew.
Oh, look at his hair today.
I know, but too long. I cut it too long.
Just got a haircut.
I know,
got a
but
haircut.
Cut it
He
too
also
long.
said I cut it too long. Impossible. My God.
I told him it's the first day. Goddamn, I can't get it together.
Get the haircut too long.
Man, when that BDM spliced those videos together, so
I haven't seen it yet.
You haven't
Fuck that
seen it?
BDM.
Hold on a second.
She's,
We
doing,
never saw
she's
it.
making the most hilarious. She also did one of you skipping.
That's the one I couldn't. I found the skip one, but
Yeah.
I can't find the Don
She's
Vito
got-
one.
I gotta show you the Don Vito.
And goddamn it, he's got the goofy giant hair to why? What is that? What is that? Anybody who's
It's a special needs detective.
it's
Yeah, it's called the Owen.
My God, if you
Because at some point, because guess what? Because at some point, everyone around you stops giving a fuck about your hair, and that's what it's about. It's mean. It's mean.
you're
I know
right.
it is, and it's not fair.
You're right.
But like, it's one step
You're right.
away from just lock him in the basement.
it's one, you're like you're not slothy enough to lock you in the door.
It used to be locked in the tower. Then it was like,
yeah.
then it's changed.
But a hunchback or some
Yeah,
deformity.
now it's
they
pool
put you
shed.
in-
Now it's lock him in the pool shed. Give him the
right.
Owen.
Yeah. Oh man, that's too much
you
reality.
guys glad to be back or what?
Just came to the end.
We'll be better tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I
maybe.
thought we were pretty good. I am a stone
Came
thing.
strong.
Amazing. Real strong at the end. All right,
All right.
enjoy your show. I believe this is the end of our ticket challenge, which we have actually had meetings about bringing back. I still think we should.
Yeah. Ticket challenge, Emma Stone.
Emma
what
Stone
if we
challenge.
called it the Emma Stone ticket challenge?
Okay. Oh, what if we put out a challenge? Who can get a correspondence from Emma Stone back quicker
than
after the
Butler.
day?
And
Butler.
if they beat
Yeah.
What do they get?
Okay, hold on. Now we're getting somewhere. We're
Are
getting
we?
true.
and then
fucking
whoever
nonsense.
and the listener that wins the Emma Stone challenge.
Our slogan should have been getting to nowhere.
Our slogan should have been getting to nowhere.
Our slogan.
Getting to nothing. Something. Okay. Here it is.
Bye, Emma.